back to me. Enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us Enough is enough. You won't bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough.
Hey guys, welcome back to Indie Wrestling Corner with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host, as always, the queen of the Indies, Tiffany, and today we got Cody Fluffman. We're being extra today. How are you?
What up? What up? Good. How are you?
I'm excited. I've been wanting this interview for a while now. So
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm super excited. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Guys, if you're new here to the Under the Rope series, here I interview everything independent wrestling, whether it's wrestlers, referees, backstage, promoters. I got you covered. If you guys got any questions for Cody, please feel free. Drop it into the chat. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer all of your questions. So we have to start off like different. Like I feel like lately, like my Under the Ropes interviews, I've been starting off a little bit different. So we're going to start off different because we need to talk about something very important right now. We need to talk about when you come out in your entrance, why do you not have a cape?
Genuinely, you're the only person that has ever suggested that to me. Yeah, you're the only person that's ever recommended cape to me. It's the first I've ever heard it.
It's been like this thing. I don't know. I think like when I first saw you and I was like, oh man, I was like, I'm sold. I was like, I love the name. I was like, he just needs a cape. I was like, I don't know. It was just like stuck in my head. And like, shout out to Zach, because I'm sure he'll be into like the chat or if he listens to this later and everything. Yeah. I've always said this to him. I was like, he needs a cape. And he was like, I don't understand you. So I don't know. I feel like, you know, like Rico's got to come out and he needs to give street tacos. We talked about this on his podcast. Like you get a street taco, you get a street taco, you get a street, you know, everybody gets street tacos. So now, like, you need a cape.
Yeah, I guess I gotta figure out how to get a cape.
So we're gonna run with this. Pretty much going on to this podcast about that you having like if you're gonna do a cape, how would you design it?
I mean, well, so obviously I'd put my big F logo. So I have a F that has my mullet on it.
Yeah.
Like my hair coming down the back. So that would definitely be on it. I feel like that'd be like the big centerpiece. If not, the cape itself is the hair, like flowing from the F. If the cape is just an extension of my actual hair.
I love it. Oh, my friend Jimmy's in the chat. What's up, Jimmy? Jumbo Ref. Shout out to him. He goes, pop, haha. It's this guy. Because he knows, because we were in the car one day. We were hanging out. And I was talking about you, and I was like, dude, this guy needs a cape. And he was like, what? I was like, he needs a cape. I was like, that's all that matters, you know, is that he needs a freaking cape. I was like, so that's what we're going to go with, you know, like, so, anybody who wants to design a cape, you know, like, I feel like this is, you know, this is their thing. Shout out to Ed.
Opportunity.
This is your opportunity to capitalize on it. But like, how cool would it be? You just come out like, I'm Fluffman.
And still, I feel like I couldn't do like super long cape. I feel like I would have to do like the short little cape. So you remember whenever they were doing that with backpacks for a little bit?
Yes.
Where like backpacks would have little capes that came out of it. I feel like that's what I would have to rock. Like a cape that is obviously just like very, like it's 10 sizes too small.
Right.
It's almost just like a backwards bib I'm wearing pretty much.
I'm here for it. So, if you guys, leave me some comments. If you're listening to this later, let me know, what kind of cape, I think it's important to, him being Fluffman pretty much. So, okay. So let's start off with this because I'm sure there's going to be, obviously I know you because I don't put anybody on this podcast that I'm not familiar with. So, we're going to break down some matches and stuff like that too. But for the fan that's tuned into this podcast, never seen you wrestle before, what is the go-to match that you would recommend for them to become an instant fan?
Oh man, that's
putting the pressure on.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Oh man. These questions are always the hardest for me because like I don't know. I always have trouble like I don't know. I always have trouble narrowing it down because I feel like there's so many matches where it can just be like so many matches are so different that it's really hard to say like, oh, this like because this match could have done this good, but then like this match did this like better than that.
Of course.
So
you guys are your hardest critics here.
So one that does come to mind is oh dang, I had it and then I lost it. I'm poor. Oh man. Yeah, no, I genuinely I can't think of one. I'm still lost on this question.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, I'm stumped. I don't know.
All right. Well, you come back to it. You come back to it.
Leave me time to let's talk some more.
Yeah, all right.
Think about
so,
it
let's talk a little bit about this. Let's talk about Buff and Fluff pretty much because, so tag team, let's talk about you, how this came about, tell the audience a little bit about you guys.
So Sean and I have been best friends since we were 13. We grew up together. We went to high school together, and Sean had started wrestling probably about a year before I did. And then after about 2 years or so, Sean had been probably wrestling about 3 years at that point, and I think I had been wrestling about 2. And that's whenever we decided that, maybe we wanted to actually like try as a tag team, because we would joke growing up because we both wanted to be wrestlers that it's like, oh, we'll grow up, like we'll be wrestlers and then we'll be a tag team. Like I'll never forget being in our friend's yard at like 3 a.m. and me and Sean talking and being like, oh, like, what would our tag name be? And then like in the yard that morning, Sean going, oh, we should be the Buff and Fluff Connection because I'm like jacked and you're not. And and yeah, really we talked about that in high school, and then now here we are. I've been wrestling over 5 years, or a little over 5 years now at this point, and we're actually like doing it on a pretty consistent basis.
Yeah, I haven't seen you guys are like all over the place now, which is crazy, which is great. And it's just like you guys are like so over, and like the fans love you and like they're here for it.
Yeah.
I'm totally here for that. So definitely like check that out. But let me roll off of that. Because like shout out to Conrad who guys check Conrad out, Everything Pro Wrestling. He's got you covered AEW, WWE, all that fun stuff. So I'm sure he'll pop into the chat later also. So he was someone that he's not familiar with you, but he lives up in Buffalo, New York. So he knows Puff and everything like that. That's his boy and everything like that. So with that tweet, he had said, he goes, forming the Puff and Fluff connection, and then you had to tell him that, you already teamed with Shawn Legacy. So now, he kind of came back around and was like, well, what about a trios?
I'm here for it.
It would be fun. Would it still be like the Fluff and Buff connection? Like, do you feel like that you need to like add something to it too?
Yeah, no, we would just add it. So if Puff comes in, then it's the Buff and Fluff and Puff connection. And then anybody else that comes in, you just add in their name alphabetically until we get a 26-member faction with the longest name in wrestling history.
I'm dead. Zach just came into the chat. He goes, Tiff and Fluff. Fluffany. I'm here for it. So, Conrad's in the chat. What's up, Conrad? So he said, just in time for, we were talking about this trios. I do think, I know we just, we finally have the tag team, the IWTV tag team champion.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's enough like trios in the independent scene that we can make happen and have a trios belt, even if it's a one-time tournament or something like that.
Yeah.
Or even like a promotion holds like a trios belt. I feel there's enough trios that can happen in the independent scene. Pretty much.
No, I agree.
Ooh.
I agree.
Who do you so okay, you, Sean, and Puff. Who would you like to be your first opponent?
Well, so I am just from being down in like the South, like the first trios or like the first like group of people that kind of pops up is people like the Carnies,
mm-hmm.
Who are a lot of like they're trios who really work a lot down here. Even though a member changes here and there, but it's still the same thing. Another group is like at least down in like the Georgia area, you have the Hierarchy, who is another like good group of trios guys, and the list just goes on and on. At least like down here, like I feel like you could even do it where there's like a southeast one and then like a northeast one. Like there's like. It's possible. Anything's really possible in wrestling if we think about it hard enough.
Seriously, there's so much that we could have in the independent scene, and like we need to capitalize on it, because sometimes I think like some stuff gets stale after a while. It seems like some of the same stuff. So like so that's why I'm glad that I'm bringing a lot of people, like, since I'm in New York, like, so you might not be familiar to some of the fans out there, like in my area or whatever like that, so it's nice because it's like, hello, book these people, they're good. Like, I want to see, like, I would love to see this trios with the Miracle Ones or, Desmond Cole, Tristan Ty, and, Gabriel Sky. Like, there's a lot of, like, potential that we could have here. Everything Pro Wrestling, he goes, bring back the trios tournament. Landon's in the chat. What's up, Landon? Hell yeah.
Landon.
He goes, we need your favorite color, bro. Love the flow.
Thanks, baby. My favorite color is blue.
Blue. So it's a blue cape. We've already established.
But if we're going like specific blue, it's like a royal blue. I love that like deep blue.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah,
so blue.
That's my favorite.
I think Landon can be part of this trios with you guys, with you and Sean.
Yeah. I'm down for that 100% too. They
Dr.
can just like
Fluff and Buff. Yeah,
the
pretty
Dr.
much.
Buff and Fluff connection. Oh, we gonna be Dr. Buff Fluff Stuffins. There's something there. Hold on, I gotta think.
He wrote, reminds me of a waterfall mixed with Billy Ray Cyrus. He goes, mine is blue too, bro. Hell yeah. Buff, Fluff, and Stuff. Yes.
Yes.
So, but Landon, you have to come out with a cape too, okay? Like, so, and then he'll have
me, Sean, and Landon will all have matching capes for this trios.
Someone tag Matt Griffin. Get him in here. I'm totally here for this, pretty much. So, but it's funny if anybody that doesn't know. So, like, when I first discovered Cody Fluffman here, pretty much, like, I started texting Landon, and I was like, because I know Landon always goes down south, so I'm like, Landon, go tell him that I said hi. I know he doesn't know me, but just tell him I said hi. So this has been like the running joke for a while now. Is that
it's my favorite thing at any show I'm at with Landon.
So that's what they do. He goes, I'll wear a cape for Huffle Fluff. I can't with you.
Yes.
So blue cape. So I'm here for it. So, and then you guys took a photo at one of the last, I think it was the action shows, right? That you guys were last at, and you guys posted a pic for me because I was like, I tagged you both.
Oh yeah, so that was at the Scenic City.
Yes.
Yeah, that was at Scenic. That was at Scenic City weekend.
So we got to get you up here, like, so promoters.
Yeah.
Get them up here.
Look, I'm sitting in my car right now. I know how to drive. You know, I know. I can drive
right
very
now.
well. Yeah, I'll drive right now to anywhere.
I can't. You guys are a mess. Anyway, all right. Well, shout out to Matt Griffin. You know, we love Matt Griffin. He's been on this podcast. We've talked SCI.
Yes.
We've talked action with him and everything like that. He's wonderful. He's been part of my Wrestling with Positivity. Much love to him. My goal is hopefully next year that I can come down for an actual action show. That's the goal. Hopefully next year. That's you know, it's in the talks and everything like that. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But all right. So talk about some of your great moments, in your opinion, of working at Action.
Oh, man, Action was a place that I came into, and nobody knew who I was because I hadn't really broke out into the Georgia scene at that point. I feel like Action was one of the first, you know, places in Georgia that's really been giving me, that gave me a little bit more of an opportunity. And so, with Action, like, I really got to come in, and these people kind of got to see me grow. And, you know, I mean, like, the Action fan base, they really got to see me grow from, which was me still kind of trying to find myself because I was new to the area, or not new to the area, but I was just like starting to come around the area more and trying to wrestle around the area more. So then, you know, the Action fan base was really the first ones who were like really starting to get behind me. And then, you know, they've seen me, you know, get all the way up to, like, you know, I had a shot at the Action World title while Alex Kane was champion. And, you know, the fans were still behind me on that. And then, you know, bringing in Sean, and now they get to have me and Sean together, or they see Sean and I together. And we're, you know, and I say it wholeheartedly, like, you know, we're one of the most over, if not the most, like, over tag team at Action. Because, you know, whenever we go out, the crowd reaction is different. But it's different in the best way.
Yeah. This is why I have to come down, because I need to feel that energy there.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's so cool. But, you know, we can talk a little bit about SCI a little bit too. So, like, being part of that, you know, like, I would love to come down for one of those too. So hopefully we're going to put it, it's like, I have my bucket list, and Action and SCI is definitely what are, like, on my bucket list to be. So maybe next year we'll see or whatever like that. So talk a little bit about, you know, SCI with everybody.
Yeah, no, working the Future Showcase was a lot of fun. It was something that had strived to do. Like, that was one of my goals in 2023 was, I was like, 2024, I want to be in the Future Showcase. And just getting to be a part of that was just so cool. And then hanging out that whole weekend, you know, just hanging out with all the different wrestlers, because the wrestling is cool, like doing all, like, you know, having matches and wrestling people, it's awesome. My favorite part of wrestling is hanging out with everybody at the shows, because, like, for me, that's just going to wrestling shows is like the most social interaction that, like, I do. So I love, you know, just hanging out with people backstage, or hanging out with people in the locker room, or, you know, just like the social aspect, and then just like all the, like, friends you make at different shows, and then, like, going to some shows and you see people you didn't expect to see, or, you know, like, I just love, like, hanging out with people at shows is my favorite part of wrestling. And, like, if we could, you know, I would just like hanging out with people, and then we could wrestle later. Like, I just want to hang out with everybody.
That's fun. Well, that's fun. I've been that, like, backstage and just, like, hang out and goof off, and, you know, I'll be, like, recording silly things in the background, like.
I took this picture at SCI, and if you would have told young me that this was a picture I would keep in my wallet, you know, I wouldn't believe you. But because of, like, that SCI weekend, I got this picture with Paul London.
Yeah.
And it's us just
pull back a little bit.
Just clinking gallons, hanging out backstage at the Scenic City, and, like, I never would have thought that I would ever have this picture, but it's just something that's so cool. And, you know, shout out Paul, he's the best. I love Paul.
That's so awesome. Yeah, it's neat. I see, like, that he's, like, running around in the indies right now, and he's having, like, all these, like, bangers with people and everything.
Dude,
like,
he's just the nicest dude to be around.
Yeah.
Like, he is just the nicest dude to be around. I love Paul London.
So awesome. Yeah, Landon got to work him, so it's so
Yeah,
funny.
Landon and Paul worked.
That was pretty funny. I like when he brought out the chair and everything. So that's cool though.
That was great. I love that match. That match was so good.
Amazing. So it's funny because, when I was talking to him a little bit about like that you were coming onto this podcast, I do have friends that live upstate New York. So like they knew who you were. So they were like, oh, I see him wrestle Cloudy at ESW and everything like that. So I wanted to talk about that. Shout out to the wrestlers and, the people up there at upstate New York. So that's like 9 hours from me in a car. So it's like, they're like, oh, New York's huge. So I haven't been up there.
All right, so time out. We're going to get back to this because it just popped into my head. If you want to watch a match where you go, man, that will literally make you say, man, I love Fluffman. At PWE, it's a wrestling company in Augusta, Georgia, Phoenix Wrestling Experience. I wrestled a guy by the name of Drew Radler, and we wrestled for the Savannah River Brewing Company Championship, and it was probably the best match I've ever had of my career, but it was also one of the first times I got to have like a moment with the crowd because I finally won the belt in that match. Mm-hmm. But then right after that, I got jumped and lost the belt right after. And so that's the story we've been kind of doing there with I'm trying to get the belt back. But to have, I got to have that moment and like the reaction from the crowd when I won and just the reaction from the crowd from beginning to end, whether they were cheering for me or booing for Drew or just into the moment itself, like that is 100% the match I would ask anybody to watch if they wanted to figure out why they should like me.
There you go. See, I love that.
It takes a second sometimes. It takes a second sometimes.
Yeah,
because
you guys are getting like hit with these questions, and it's like, oh, brain. This isn't easy getting behind the computer and podcasting. Like I do it too. I go into brain fart land too.
Yeah.
So back to ESW because they do great stuff up there. So you are Cloudy. So talk a little bit about that for the fans.
That was so much fun, and because that was one of my first times getting to wrestle up north. Mm-hmm. If I'm correct, I'm pretty sure that's the only show I've ever wrestled up north. So we should definitely change that. Anybody who's listening, I'll drive. But just that whole environment was so cool, and it was the first time I'd ever flown on a plane for wrestling too. I really remember that, I remember that weekend because we had the Phoenix Wrestling Experience on Thursday, and then Sean and I drove to Charlotte, stayed in this really not great motel.
Oh God!
But it was 2 minutes from the airport. And then we got up the next morning and we went to the airport and we got on the plane to go to Buffalo, but we had enough time. And because I was already getting ready to go on the UK trip, the guy who picked us up from the airport, he took us to the Canada side of Niagara Falls because Sean and I were talking, we wanted to go see Niagara Falls anyways. Right. But since we both had our passports, we wanted to go to the Canada side. So we got to go over to the Canada side of the Niagara Falls and see that. And that was just so cool because everybody had like told us going into it, they were like, try to go to the Canada side because it's better than the side on like the States. Yeah. And whenever like we went over there, it was like one of those things like, I don't know, for me, like going up to it, I'm just like, oh, all right. Like it's going to be cool, but it's just, at the end of the day, it's just water like falling over an edge. It's just so like a cool waterfall, really. But like I don't know, being there and like seeing it, it's different. Like it's so cool, and it genuinely is like it is breathtaking. Like it's awesome. But then wrestling at in Buffalo was so cool. The ESW crowd was so nice, and then everybody even working the show was like just awesome to be around. Yeah, I had a great time there. I had so much fun. I would love to go back. It was just a blast. I loved it up there.
Conrad wants to know if you tried their wings in Buffalo.
No, I did not try any wings in Buffalo. but also in my defense, I don't do spicy. I'm not a big spicy guy. Like I can do some things spicy or some things that have like a little bit of a kick, but I don't go like buffalo sauce. I don't like buffalo sauce is too much for me sometimes.
That's okay. So I get that. That was a good question. So there you go. Some wings. I want some wings now. Like, I don't need anything on it.
I'll mess up some wings. I love wings. Oh man, I'll mess up wings.
Shout out to everybody.
You take me anywhere that's got like a 40 count of wings, like we're done. It's done.
It could be like a series like that you could like post up or just like tear it up like Victor Lee with his ice cream, like just mess it up, man. Shout out to everybody into the chat. We got like 50 people watching. Much love.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah. So
what's up, everybody?
Share the stream. If you got questions, drop them in the chat. I got you. So
I'll answer.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk about AXW because I know you and BRG had a thing going on there. So I know, like, a lot of BRG's been on this podcast. Shout out to him because he's been doing great things too. So I knew that this was definitely a match that we had to talk about. So because I remember and I had to go brush up because I went and go checked out when he BRG cut his promo against you. So I was sitting laughing.
He was so angry for no reason.
He's still angry, right? Pretty much.
Still angry.
Still angry. But Conrad said we got a plan. Fluffing and the Wingman. Fluffman and he's making up all these names for
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about that match. So I gotta get another promotion I gotta get to.
Yeah, that match was a lot of fun too. I really enjoyed working with him. That was our first time ever working together, and just all of our stuff really flowed very well together. For how I present myself like in a ring, it helps whenever whoever I'm wrestling is the exact opposite. And I say that in the sense of I feel like I'm very good at getting a crowd to love me. I'm very good at getting a crowd behind me. So whenever I have somebody who is just as good to get a crowd to hate them, I know when we're about to wrestle, it's going to be good because that's a dynamic that is so very easy to understand, especially for and it's not just for wrestling fans, it's for the people there that aren't wrestling fans. Because that's who, at the end of the day, that's who we want to play to in a crowd is we want to, play to the people who aren't wrestling fans who are just got dragged there by their friend to go, all right, I'm just going because they wanted to go, we'll see what it is. But then by the end of it, if we're all doing our jobs right, they're like, yo, this was awesome. I don't even like wrestling, but I'm coming back. That's the responses we're wanting to hear. So whenever whenever you have somebody who is just as good as being a bad guy as I can be being a good guy, you're gonna have a good time, and that was what it was like. He was just so it was just so good. And then AXW is just a great experience in general. I love it up there. There was one kid in the crowd who made his own shirt of me, which I thought was the coolest thing ever. He went and got one of my promo pictures off of I guess my social media or something, and threw it on a shirt and got his own custom Fluffman shirt made that he wears to the shows.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
And every time I go, I sign it, and yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. Now you need a cape.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing.
He needs a cape.
Yeah, now I need a cape. Yeah.
He needs a cape. The kid needs a cape. So I'm dead. I can't. Shout out to BRG because I love BRG. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah.
So too funny.
Yeah.
Another one I want to talk about because I know a lot of people up here know the name Ryan Galleon and we've seen him at Beyond and everything like that. So very familiar name. I'm trying to bring some matches here that people will know other names or whatever, so they could go look it up. So working at PWF. So talk to us a little bit about that.
PWF, I genuinely cannot say enough nice things about everybody there. PWF is very, I have a handful of promotions that I hold very, near and dear to my heart, and PWF is one of them. Mm-hmm. Genuinely, I love everybody that works there because everybody that's there is, the one goal is they want to just have fun. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're all doing every time we go out there. There's never a time in any of the matches, I feel where people aren't into what's going on. And I feel that's just so much on what everybody does like together for PWF. Like PWF was another one of those places that, you know, I feel like really helped, like really gave me a spot when I really wasn't, like I didn't really have a lot going on. So PWF was one of the first ones that was consistently using me and like, you know, using me all the time. And then, you know, we're building things around me, and then just building or getting to build this like connection with the fans there too, because the PWF fan base is another, like, it's another fan base that's different from any other promotion that I work, because they are there whether it's, you know, 60 or whether it's like 50 or 60 degrees outside and it's like 40 inside that building, or it's, you know, 100 degrees outside and it's 140 in the building. Like, they are there to
support,
be in it just as much as we are there doing it. Like, I genuinely can't say enough things about everybody at PWF and everybody who like works there, everybody backstage, like anybody who's involved with PWF, I will love forever and always. And yeah, it's one of those very special promotions for me.
I love that. I love it so much. Amazing things. That's why I was trying to bring up like different promotions that people are not familiar. There's so much independent wrestling. So much. And
yeah, and there's my favorite one in Augusta that we've been doing is the Phoenix Wrestling Experience. It's a newer one. We've just been a year in. But we do it at this brewery in downtown Augusta. And it's same deal. Those people are there to have fun and be in it just as much as we are giving it to them. And yeah, I love Phoenix. And you know, Cowboy, the guy who runs it, is just the greatest dude ever. He's the nicest dude ever. And you know, and I say favorite. You know, you're all my favorites because, you know, Sean and I, you know, we're the Viral Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. That's another place that we've gotten to do like a lot of great stuff and got do a lot of stuff at Viral. And again, these just being those are those hometown promotions for us that we really get to, you know, Sean and I just get to go out and have fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. I need to do a South tour, like seriously. Like I need to come down, and like there's so many great promotions down there. So, you know, get the IWTV subscription if you guys aren't watching it, you know. So and that's how it takes one wrestler, and that's what happened with me. That's why they called me the queen, because I started with one wrestler and then I started following them to like different promotions, and then that's how I started finding new promotions, new wrestlers. So I'm constantly finding people all over the place. So, you know. And
if I could just put over one more promotion that's also very near and dear to my heart, Classic City Wrestling in Athens, Georgia, at that 40 Watt Club. Man, I know I talked about PWF fan base being different. That 40 Watt crowd in Athens, they are different, and they are there. I'm pretty sure the crowd has more fun than we do wrestling. Like, they have more fun just being there. And then like Classic City is another place that gave me so many opportunities and got to do all these things. Like, they had a show that was also a part of oh man, I can't remember his name. Oh, dang it. But it was one of their first like big shows they did in Atlanta. I just cannot remember the artist's name, but they had like some matches, and then he plays his whole set, and we did a battle royal at the end, and I got to be in the battle royal, and I got to have like a pretty, you know, significant spot in it. But like, to get in front of that crowd, who there was probably like 3,000 people there to come see this guy.
Oh wow!
St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
There
That's
you
who
go.
It was. St. Paul and the Broken Bones. Like, I've gotten to do so much cool stuff like that because of Classic City too. Like, I'm a huge Georgia Bulldogs fan. College football is really big down here. I know it's not as big up north, but I'm a huge Bulldogs fan, and being in Athens where they play, I got to do the Bulldogs chant with like a crowd of people, which is it was the coolest thing ever. And so that's another promotion that I hold very near and dear, and I love those guys so much. Cole and Justin, they're the best.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Such awesome stuff. Yeah, so I gotta make a tour. I gotta bring some friends. We need to go down. We need to check out some different stuff. Here for some wrestling, pretty much. So,
Let's do it.
actually, it was funny. You were talking about it, and like you're talking about like the fans and stuff, and like I know like Zach's in the chat, and he's listening to this, so he probably like agree with me. Like I would love like you to come up to Grind up in Massachusetts. So I'd have to drive. But that's okay. Or you can pick me up as you drive up or something like that. We go together.
Yeah.
We'll pick up Landon. Well, actually, Landon be coming down where the Grind is, so never mind. Landon comes the other way. Anyway, but like I feel like you and Rip Bison would have fun. Like that crowd is insane. Like they are all about Grind and everything like that. And I just feel like you and Rip would have like just a fun match. Pretty much like so. You know, I'm putting it out into the universe right now. You know?
Hey, hey. My DMs are open and empty. All right, let's fill them up.
Hell yeah, let's do it. All right, so actually, let's talk about this because I saw this on your social that I thought was cool. The SAV Bananas baseball that you got to be part of that recently.
The Savannah Bananas.
Yes.
Oh man.
So talk about that. That's awesome.
Oh, that was insane. Shout out one of my best buddies, Mikey Galino. He is one of the head guys for the dad bod cheerleading squad with Savannah Bananas, and he invited him and another guy who helps out with Savannah's, who is also associated with wrestling, the professor. They reached out to me and they asked me if I wanted to come hang out and come be a part of the dad bod cheerleading squad, and I said 100% yes, and I had so much fun. Literally just going out there, I'm getting to dance around. I'm generally just doing what I already do in like a wrestling ring, but I just don't have to bump, and it was awesome.
It looked fun. I saw like all the photos and the videos that you posted, and I'm like, oh, how fun is that? I was like, we gotta talk about this.
And my the two things that, or the number one thing everybody came up to me, or I got like consistently questioned about, was I think I had like 3 or 4 people come up to me and go, hey, I either had people say I had nice hair, or I had people ask me if my hair was real.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, it's real. They were like, sick.
Here, pretty much. I love that. That's so cool. So congrats on that. All right, let's do what's dear to my heart on this podcast, wrestling with positivity. So, since there's always the world of negativity on social media, I like to focus on positive. So, what's something that comes to mind, whether it's something that you've done for a fan, maybe a fan's done for you, maybe a wrestler's done for you, something you've done for a wrestler, something that we wouldn't know unless you shared it with us?
Oh, man. Yeah, I had a fan make me this necklace, which is really cool. I thought it was like he made he just made a bunch of these like little glass necklaces for a bunch of the wrestlers.
Aww.
And he handed it to me, and I was like, "Joke's on you! I'm gonna wear this for the rest of my life."
Aww.
So
that's cool.
But I love little stuff like this. This past Action, Sean and I tagged, and after the match, there's this family that comes to all the Action shows, and like their son has a mullet and their daughter has this poster that says Buff and Fluff Connection on it, and every show they bring it over to us and we sign it. There's probably like 8 or 10 signatures on that thing by now. But after the match, Sean and I didn't win the belts, but she comes over with her sign and holds it up, and I was like, all right, come here. And somebody grabbed the sign from her, and she went to go walk away, and I was like, no, come here. And she comes up to the ring, and we held her up, and Sean and I held her on her shoulders while she held up the Buff and Fluff Connection sign. And that was just a really cool moment, because these this family really has been like huge supporters of us. Like, I'm sure they bought like there was one time they came to a show and they were like, hey, I know we bought t-shirts from you guys last time, but we left them, so we're gonna buy more t-shirts from you so we can wear them tonight. And it was the same exact t-shirts.
Oh, wow.
They were the same exact designs.
Aww.
But this family is like what's happened with like a lot of the people in Action is like we've just been able to connect with them on more than just us being their favorite wrestlers, which is really cool. And I feel like that's a lot of what I strive for, and I feel like that's what a lot of people strive for, is you want to form these connections with the fans that that might go a little goes beyond just being your favorite wrestler as like in like the safe or in like in the realms where that's the best. I don't know how I'm wording this. I'm horrible at words, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like with that's our goal, is to get these connections with the fan base,
Of course.
and that's that's one of my favorite parts about wrestling, is connecting with the fans.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's what got me as a fan. That's what hooked me, and so as a wrestler, that's what I try to do as much, because you want to be, I feel like that's another goal for any wrestler, is you want to be able to say that you were someone's like reason, like we all have wrestlers that we look up to, and we're like, that he made me want to be a professional wrestler. That's such a huge compliment that I feel like, it's, unless you have that connection with the crowd, or you get that, or you can figure out how to connect with that, whether it's in a, as a good guy in a good way, or as a, a heel, doing it in, doing it in that way of getting the fans to connect with you, to get them to want to be, either come to the shows consistently, or if they have that passion, to get more involved. And, I feel like I kind of just went off topic of what the question even was, but here we are.
I think it's you hit like the nail on the noggin there pretty much, right? Like that's the kind of like with me, like I went to indie shows and then I decided that I wanted to start independent, podcasts and like put people over.
Yeah.
And it's the connections that I've made with, heels, faces, whatever, it doesn't matter. I have like the connections, with you guys, and it's, that I can bring you guys to life, and like you guys grab me, and it's like, especially me, that it's like I'm watching stuff all over the place, so it's not just me being biased to just New York, like I'm watching stuff, like there's people in UK that I follow, what I'm saying, like there's people in Canada, like I follow like all over the place, so which is pretty freaking cool, but that is like your job too, is that as a wrestler, is to get us fans to get on board here with you guys.
Absolutely.
But good cop, bad cops in the chat. He says, "Congrats on you're my 250th episode for Under the Ropes." So
250th episode. That's what I'm talking about.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So he said, "How's it going to us both?" So he was going back to the beginning of the episode, so he's gonna catch up to us so that he can come.
Okay.
So he'll come back. Maybe he usually likes to throw a question, but I know he said on on Twitter that he didn't want to use your name as an anagram because he does one for everyone, and then he when they're bad, then he messages me on the side. I'll throw it under the bus. And message me on the side, like, yeah, this would be my question, and I'm not getting you canceled. So, like,
dang.
So it's like that. Okay, let's bring back another old question from my podcast that I haven't that I haven't done in a while. What's the craziest thing a fan's done to get your attention?
Oh man. So I don't know if I've had like necessarily like crazy, but the cool, like one of the cool things, or it just like surprises me every time it happens, is the fans that bring me like boxes of Uncrustables. Like I love it, but it's so shocking to me that it's just so shocking in like a cool way that I'm like, oh, these people like went to the store. Like, you decided that you're going to get in your car, drive out of your way to go to a store to pick up a box of Uncrustables, and then drive them back over to me or then drive to the show to give them to me. Like that. And plus I just love getting food. So like anybody that wants to keep bringing me Uncrustables, like I'm not going to say no.
What kind? Any particular, or it doesn't matter?
I'm a fan. So I'm a OG fan. I just like the peanut butter and jelly, like grape jelly. But I also like the honey one, the peanut butter and honey. That one's good too. I like that. That's my little 2 a.m. sweet treat snack time road, like snack on the road. I'm eating that little honey peanut butter Uncrustable.
I like that. We put it out there because there's been fans on this pod that bring wrestlers stuff. So I get like the wrestlers DMing me, but like, oh, so and so brought me this because of your pod. It's like, so maybe we'll get some more pretty much with this. So, all right. So I have 2 final questions for you. If anybody else has questions, feel free, drop them into the chat. All right. So we're closing on to the ending of 2024. What are some goals that you would like to achieve in that time?
Oh man. So really our goals I have for the rest of the year is just keep on doing what I've been doing. And that's just, going out and trying to take as many opportunities that are given to me, because I know I know that if I can get an opportunity, that I can succeed in it. I know that I have, no matter who's it's in front of, if you put me in front of somebody, I'm gonna perform. And so that's really just what I want to keep doing is just I want to keep, you know, going out and doing as much as I can. Whether that be in the South or, going up north more, because that's also another thing I would like to do is I would like to travel more. I travel a lot in the Southeast, but I want to travel more up north. I already do go up to Pennsylvania consistently for AXW. So, I would love to do some other shows in some other places, and maybe, we hit that one back on the way down and then we come back. I'm all about loops. If we can make it work, let's make it work. But that's another big thing I want to do is I want to travel more. I want to go up north more. I want to do more up north. Because, again, I feel like I don't want to say I've done it all in the South or, anything like that, because I still love all of, the shows down here. I still love performing, but I want to do more. That's no, I think that's everybody's, goal whenever they're chasing this is they want to do as much as possible. And that's what I want to do. I just want to keep doing more, keep adding things to my list, and keep trying to do, as much as I can.
Yeah. I feel like shout out to Harry with BST, because I feel like you and Bobby Buffet would be like fun because he's always eating sandwiches and stuff in the ring. So I feel like you guys.
I love a good sandwich.
So hopefully, I know he's out on injury. Hopefully he'll be back soon. So I hope you're recovering, Bobby, really good. I saw some posts going on, so hopefully he'll be here soon. But I would like to see you and Sean up this way, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, something like that I could drive my butt to and come see you guys. I mean, I know people was looking for some tag teams, bring some of these South guys up here, come on, there's a bunch down there.
Hey, look, if you want to book Sean and I'll drive and he'll sit in the passenger seat. We'll make it happen. That's just a joke on Sean because I drive all the time. I'm just kidding. He does his chair. He does good.
I love that. Okay, so my final question for you, if anybody else drop into the chat, then we'll go over what you got, everything coming up. So I always like to end my podcast with that we have fans that whether they're just fans, they're looking to get into wrestling, or we have people that just started training. What's a piece of advice that you would give?
My biggest one is to just keep going. There's going to be some points where you think, all right, that's it. We can call it here, or especially in training, there's some stuff that's going to be difficult. You might have moves that you're trying to learn and other people are picking up faster, or there's just some other stuff in wrestling that people are picking up better than you, and don't let other people's success determine yours, in that sense of you might be having trouble on this one thing, but that doesn't mean you just need to quit. You just gotta keep going. You gotta keep trying, keep doing better, because that's what I've always done. That's been my thing, is I just try to keep going. I know, or it's in wrestling, or at least starting out, I wasn't sure what I would always be able to do in a ring, and I even shocked myself with some of the stuff that I'm able to do now. But I never would have known any of that if I ever would have stopped. And I always tell myself too, is I never wanted to question, or I never wanted to have that what if scenario for wrestling. I always wanted, I never wanted to be the guy that goes, man, what if I at least would have tried it, just keep going and, try your best at it, because as long as you're doing that, you're gonna do exactly what you need to do.
Great advice. Love that. So shout out to everybody. I know make sure you get a great school if you're thinking about it and everything like that. Replica school is very important.
Very, very important. Very important.
All right, so let's talk about what you got coming up, so people can come see you if they're they're around your area.
Yes.
So I have some posters. So you talk about what you got coming up, and then I'll flash it across the screen for the people that are watching the audio.
First up, first up, I got Disruptor in Buford, Georgia on September 20th.
feel like Dante
that'll be a
Drago
fun-
belongs on that show because it's a cup. So Drago is the best, pretty much. So shout out to Dante Drago because he's the frat star, pretty much. But
Yeah.
so I saw that, I was like, oh, this is Dante all over.
Yeah. So that's my first. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing there, but I know I'm gonna have fun. So you should definitely come to that because if I'm there, we're having fun. And then this Saturday, I'm at IWE in Augusta, Georgia. Sean and I are tagging there. Again, not sure what we're going to be doing, but Sean and I will be there. And again, if Sean and I are on the show, we're going to have fun. So you should be there to have fun too. And then I believe the week after that, I have on Friday, we doing action wrestling.
You can tell Landon I said hi.
Yes. Yeah, I'll tell Landon. Yeah. Hey, that's going to be a fun one, too, because it's going to be Sean versus Landon, and that match is going to be awesome.
Yes.
So I'm super pumped to eat ice cream while I watch that match. So hopefully they're after me, so I have time to go. Man, so at the bus barn, there's this ice cream shop that's connected to it, and it's the best ever. I love it. And that's my favorite place. That's my favorite thing about that place is going to get that ice cream after my match. So that's where you can find me at the ice cream. And then after that, that Sunday, I'll be at PWF. PWF, I'll have a promo coming out actually pretty soon about what I'm doing at PWF. So stay tuned for that. And then believe the weekend after that October 5th, I'll be at Viral Pro Wrestling. Sean and I defending the tag belts against the Superstars. We actually just dropped our promo for that, so y'all should go watch that, check it out, share it, because it was really good. It was pure cinematography, if I do say so myself. Ooh. So y'all should go check that out. And then actually that October 4th, I might have something pretty cool that's up north related, but I don't know 100% for sure, so I'm not going to talk about it yet. Ooh. So you can't call me a liar.
I can't.
But keep an eye out, because if something gets posted about that, I'll definitely be sharing about that. And really, that's me for the next 3 weeks. Other than that, just try to find your local indie show, and if I'm not there, beg your promoter to put me on.
Yes, please. I want to see him in person. It has to happen. So we're gonna put it over. So tell everybody where they can follow you and all that fun stuff if they're not following you already.
Yes, I'm at Fluffman_cometh on everything: Instagram, Twitter, or X. Even TikTok. I don't post as much as I should on TikTok. I'm trying to do better. I promise I'm going to do better, because Sean and I have been going back and forth about some ideas that are for videos that aren't necessarily wrestling related. So keep an eye out for those too, because that's going to be fun. And yeah, if you type in Fluffman or Fluffman Cometh on something, I'll pop up probably. So
definitely give a follow. I have all those links in the description below if you're a little lazy. I got you. Don't worry.
Yes.
All that fun stuff.
Yes.
So, so we covered a lot. So is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to cover?
No. I think we covered pretty much everything. Just, if this is like a last words type thing, I just want to say thank you for having me on. Absolutely. It's been awesome hanging out and talking with you. Thank you for everybody that was hanging out in the chat, and thank you everybody who's gonna watch this, who watched it live or is gonna watch it later. I'm big. I love everybody. I love all y'all. So, thank y'all.
I love you too. So we're gonna get this cape going. It's gonna be blue.
Yes. Yes.
I'm here for it.
Cape.
It's the important thing, the cape.
Yes.
So we're just gonna run with that. So, but thank you again for coming on here and chatting with us for a little bit.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So guys, I'm going on break. I'm going on vacation next week. So stay tuned. Make sure you're following the Indie Wrestling Corner and put those notifications on. So I'll be back. I know Bobby Flacco is on my list that has to come on to this podcast. So
I love Bob.
He is awesome. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna dance. We're gonna how it comes out. We're gonna do it on the pod.
Bob's great. So, I love Bob.
We're gonna make that. We're gonna get more people from the South to come on this podcast pretty much when I come back. So so guys, thanks you again. Stay safe, support independent wrestling, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.
See you.